You know, after all this, I still think this is going to be the best auto rifle next week. I still think this is going to be the best auto. But let's give Summoner a try. I'm also going to put on the oh so meta Conditional Finality. You know, the weapon that absolutely needs a nerf. I hope they bury this weapon. I hope there's so many ways they can f this gun, but I hope they go about it in a way that would decimate it for generations to come. But with that being said, when you're at the top of the list, Bungie could very well be nerfing you. We're gonna talk about Conditional Finality when we go offline. I mean, when we're waiting to play reset. I mean, when we don't go offline. We'll talk about it at some point today. Wow. Let me just spend the next game playing with condition. All right. The shotgun with the ability to freeze and ignite. It's extremely unique. Dare I say, exotic.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But we shall use this for the rest. Oh my god. We shall use this for the rest of the game. We will use nothing else. I'm just going to use a shotgun, and then we're going to talk about whether or not Conditional Finality should be nerfed, because this has become a debate. I'm going to give you my reasons. In the meantime, can everyone in chat just fight? You know, can everyone just argue? Matt. See, that is why Conditional Finality is so good. The ability to counter bubbles. That's really why its usage chart has gone up so much, you know? My Lord. Yeah, everyone in this chat get extremely toxic. You know, let's just start. Can we start a poll right now? Should Conditional Finality be nerfed?
That's why we have fire team. 2 for 1.
What the f is that? That's the shotgun. That's just a shotgun doing shotgun things, man. Or more specifically, this particular shotgun doing exotic things, because well, it's a raid exotic, you know what I mean? So oh my Lord. Destiny kids forever loving their shotguns. I don't feel like any of our special weapons take much skill at all. Oh my god. He's a fucking Terminator. Look, we're gonna play a couple of games with Conditional Finality. I'm literally using nothing else. I'm just using this weapon and the means of closing that gap. Wow, good job.
Zone C locked. Enemy has advantage.
Beautiful. Return the favor. All right, we'll play one more game of Conditional Finality. We ran around. We're rocking Antaeus wards too right now. So, I mean, we're being an all-around piece of shit. But I'm doing this purposely because these two items go hand in hand. I guarantee you most Conditional Finality users are, you know, they're probably dabbling a little bit in Antaeus ward action, you know? All right, so we got 29 defeats. Let's assume we got maybe 3 other kills with our primary weapons. All right, so we're somewhere around 25, 26 opponents defeated with Conditional Finality. All right, for the next game, we're going full ape for science. And then we're going to talk about this because this is a hot debate right now. Should Conditional Finality be nerfed?
You have advantage. 2 for 1.
Disgusting. I got no ammo. Cross is a good, fun, exotic weapon. Please don't take it away from us. Guys, y'all act like I have some sort of mystical power to nerf weapons, dude. I don't have that power. I am simply a player of the game. I get killed by Stars and Shadow. I'm not, you know what I mean? Bungie, nerf Stars and Shadow. They're not going to nerf it. Bungie, you should destroy Stars and Shadow. Not going to happen. Oh, we're amplified. Let's go. Thumbs up. Dude, if I had that power, guys, bows would have been nerfed already. You know what I mean? I can't stand fucking bows.
Zone A lost. They have advantage.
That was a good try, man. You try to go for it.
Your enemy can't kill if they're dead.
Headshot.
Oh my god, he just got sniped in his well. Holy sh.
Zone B captured. You have zone advantage.
There we go. Damn, I didn't get the ignition. Slug shotguns are also going to go up in usage, guys. Their AE's being improved. With this gameplay, they will buff Conditional Finality. Good. Good. The ornament is trash. If there's anything that this gun needs a buff on, it needs its ornament buff because it is definitely not worth the silver.
They have advantage.
Damn, I couldn't get it off. Oh, nice. What were the poll results for Conditional Finality? The question, should Conditional Finality be nerfed? What was the percentages? 84% said no. We could take that the poll, at least, here in our stream, was the equivalent to a hell no. And here's the thing. When talking about Conditional Finality, you got to understand, okay, it is a very good shotgun. Good kill ranges. It's got the stasis freeze and the solar ignition. It's extremely unique. But the biggest reason why so many people are using Conditional Finality is because it counters bubble and well. Now, like what we just saw there just now, like I froze. That guy was in a well, right? When I froze him, right? So you can't actively counter. Now, it doesn't get rid of the well, but you can kill the guardian in the well. Correct? I don't understand why people say you can't counter a well with Conditional Finality. You definitely can. It's not as clear cut as a bubble, but you can definitely counter a well. We're listing the reasons why Conditional Finality is being used so much. Would you also say it's being used a lot too because it's in the kinetic slot? Most notably because people are using weapons like Igneous. I mean, when we're talking about the Trials meta, I would argue and say a lot of people are using Igneous in their energy slots, and in their kinetic slots is free. Why not use Conditional? Or Amit. All right, there we go. Amit too. I have to say, majority of people I go up against have been Igneous users with Conditional Finality in their kinetic slots. The reason why conditional usage was high is because Root of Nightmares was farmable this week. I would argue and say most of the people that are playing Trials already had Conditional Finality. And it's always been kind of close to the top for usage statistics. I also believe people are using Conditional Finality because Antaeus exists. I think Antaeus shotgun combo is such a lethal combination. You're not going to see a dial back of shotguns until you see Antaeus get nerfed. Indian Burns says, should one gun be a total counter to 90% of supers with little effort? Yeah, that's a good question. He does ask a good question. Following up, one is a special ammo gun. The other is a 5-minute cooldown ability. I would say this, though. In the world that we live in with tiered supers, I understand where you come from. You're saying 90% of the supers can be countered. But in the world that we live in with well and bubble being like the two most used supers and subclasses inside of Trials of Osiris, for obvious reasons, because of the cooldown, it literally wins rounds. Thank God we have something to counter. Now, let me also say this. If Conditional Finality gets nerfed, Wither Horde's usage is going to go up tremendously. It's not as big of a direct counter as Conditional Finality. It's a good counter, but Conditional Finality, in my opinion, is a better counter, especially to bubble, a more immediate counter. But nothing feels more helpless than on rounds 3, 4, and 5. You're wanting to engage in a gunfight, and the opposing team pops a bubble on the point, and there's nothing you can do. Or they pop a well. There's nothing you can do. See, back in the day, whenever someone would get a super, the other person on the other team would also get a super. Rounds 4 and 5, maybe 3 if someone was slaying out, would result in it being, it was a super fest. It was one person popping a super to counter another person. And normally it was a roaming super of sorts. But I remember multiple times using hammers to counter other people's supers, whether it was to take on a Goldie or an Arc Strider or something, you know what I mean? And you actually got to see those supers in those 1v1 scenarios. And it was actually pretty cool. You never see that anymore. And I know we're kind of steering away from the topic, which should be surrounding Conditional Finality. But what I'm trying to also bring attention to is that there is more here than just a shotgun being good. There's more here to this debate than just Conditional Finality being a good shotgun. It is a great shotgun. It feels exotic, which is the way an exotic should feel. But this is a systemic issue because of the way our supers are now designed and how they're now tiered. Now, some people are in here asking for smaller nerfs to Conditional Finality. Things like a handling nerf. That's too much handling. Maybe that could walk it down. Also want to bring up something else though, guys. In the land of raid exotics, which ones are actively hot right now? Think about from where they were. Anarchy. Think about how great Anarchy was at one time. Think about how great Terrible was at one time. I'm talking about right now. You had Anarchy, you had Vex Mythoclast, you had Terrible, Divinity. Okay, we've seen nerfs across the board to all these exotics. Now, I'm not saying Divinity. I mean, Divinity we still use, right? Anarchy was only good because of snipers? No. Anarchy was good in a lot of different metas, dude. It was good in double slug metas. Anarchy was good because of his ammo economy and sheer amount of damage. But in a world of raid exotics, from where they were to where they are now, we know that raid exotics, they do eventually get nerfed. The reason why I bring this up is that I do think Conditional Finality will be nerfed. I'm not saying it should be. I'm just saying I believe it will happen based on the previous history of other raid exotics. Kind of blows my mind considering you have to earn the weapon. With that being said, guys, I think there's a lot of contributing factors to Conditional Finality. I do believe that Bungie's going to look at the stat sheet. That, you know, obviously the headline right now is the #1 weapon in Trials this past weekend was Conditional Finality. All right. Understand, again, like what we just mentioned a second ago, Igneous and Amex are right under that, right? So the obvious weapon to pair with both of these is Conditional Finality, right? If you have it. But like I just said, I think that, you know, the way tier supers are, Antaeus and where it is, and being in the kinetic slots, I think those are all big contributing factors to the shotgun being used, on top of the shotgun being a very good shotgun. It's a very good shotgun. But history repeats itself, so don't be surprised if this thing gets nerfed. I do want to bring up one last point, though. Hold on. I'm going to bring up one last point. And this is something that actually, this is why I hope Bungie doesn't knee-jerk react on this, okay? Next week, and let me pull this up from the swap. Okay, so this is going to be hitting with the mid-season patch. Shotguns, like snipers, we wanted to make shotguns with minimum AE investment feel more usable, so we have matched the base inner accuracy of slug shotguns to what they were at pre-AE levels. With the Icarus mod, pellet shotguns are in a bit of a unique situation, as pre-AE, they had a substantial accuracy penalty, which would deflect the entire pellet spread. So the time was also random. We have since removed that entirely and replaced it with an increase to spread angle, so that the effect of jumping on the weapon's behavior would be more predictable and could be displayed in the hipfire reticle. As it stands currently, their actual accuracy is the same as it is on the ground and cannot be improved. But to be fair to them, we have also decreased the pellet spread penalty by 20%. Now, the main takeaway for this, guys, is that precision slug shotguns are they're decreasing the airborne accuracy penalty for those weapons by 20%. Now, the main thing is the example they give, that slug shotguns are now as accurate at base as they were pre-AE with the Icarus mod. And that is a big deal because exotic slug shotguns, you could not equip an Icarus mod. Now, there is a shotgun that is present in the kinetic slot that is a slug shotgun that will be noticeably better next week. That's Chaperone. I'm not saying everyone is going to suddenly pick up Chaperone, but I do believe that this could actually curb the usage rates here of Conditional Finality if Chappie comes back in a big way. So we'll have to see. I'm not saying that's going to be one and done, and all of a sudden Conditional Finality is going to drop off the charts. But the slug shotguns and their changes could have an effect on that. So if I was Bungie, I definitely wouldn't make any sudden moves about Conditional Finality yet. I would just wait and see how things play out and then see where things go. I guess the real question that everyone needs to ask, should Bubble and Well be nerfed inside of PvP? PvP exclusive? Yes. Obviously here. All right. 81% right now are saying that Bubble and Well should be nerfed in PvP. Bubble has already been nerfed. It actually has. You can counter on Bubble pretty effectively now in a variety of ways. You push it correctly. Keep in mind on the topic of Bubble and Well, guys, if it wasn't cap point trials, you would have it in some ways, but cap point trials exacerbates that usage rate even more. You know what I mean? That's it, guys. That is my conversation on Conditional Finality.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.